Mic check, 1, 2, what is this? Young Pharaoh is back in business. Yes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. More boxing, more life. You know, it's a show about all things boxing. And on today's show, in today's episode, you know, a lot going on in the boxing world right now. As far as, you know, big fights on the horizon. And just a lot of excitement overall in the sport of boxing. And so today, just want to talk a little bit about what's going on in boxing, man. You got Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, which is a really great fight. Terence, that's pretty much what I want to talk about today, is that Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. That fight right there, man, that could be everything. That fight could be everything. What I've noticed about that fight is that it seems like Porter really wants to fight. You know, really believes he can beat Terence Crawford. And he's been calling for that fight for a while. If you've been keeping up with just Shawn Porter, who he is, you know, the Porter Way podcast, and just keeping up with boxing, you see that, you know, Porter has been speaking on it for a while, speaking on the potential and the, you know, possibility of fighting Terence Crawford. And so that's a fight that I think should definitely be made. And the fans would really love a fight like that, myself included. Because every time Shawn Porter steps inside the ring, he brings it. You know, Porter's a dog all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. But for real though, Shawn Porter is a fighter that, even though he has losses on his records, he hasn't been blown out the water. You know what I'm saying? And even then, he's always come back better, which is crazy. You don't see too many fighters like that. You know, sometimes, or usually when a fighter loses, especially with multiple losses, it's like they're kind of washed. Not sure if it's a mental thing or it's like this physically, then like really never the same fighters after that. But with Porter, what I've noticed is that after each loss, man, he comes back better. After of course, the Kell Brook loss, he came back better. Porter stepped up to Keith Thurman, and we all know that was a fight of the year, and how explosive it was, and how banging it was, and just like overall, that fight was a hell of a fight. So, and even when Porter lost to Spence, you know, that was a pretty close fight, really great fight. That was a dog fight, and you know, many people say without that knockdown, it could have went either way. But hey, that was a hell of a fight. I'm glad I got to see it. But I think as a fan, yeah, I like the sound of Shawn Porter versus Terence Crawford. That sounds like a really nice matchup. So honestly, stylistically, with that fight, I would still lean towards Crawford winning, because Crawford's style is just different, you know. He has longer arms, he can switch both stances, great defensively. Styles make fights. So stylistically, I could see Terence Crawford being victorious because it has the right style for Porter. With Porter and how he brings it each round, he's gonna be in your face. So it's never gonna be a clean, easy fight with Porter. Alright, so Shawn Porter tweeted recently, he tagged Top Rank, which is Terence Crawford's promotion company, and he tagged Terence Crawford as well. And what he said was, "I'll be ready in May at Terence Crawford at Top Rank Boxer. Hashtag the Porter way." Yo, if that ain't a statement, I don't know what is. But, you know, Terence Crawford responded to that tweet by saying, just, you know, with the yawning emoji, seeming a little bit, you know, like disinterested a little bit, saying, "Just stay on standby. Now you trying me." And let me talk about that response for a minute, man. You know, as a fight fan, as a fighter myself, I have mixed emotions about that type of response from Terence. It just seems like he's disinterested. You know, I know they're friends, I know they're cordial, but hey, Porter has the right mentality of willing to fight anyone, friendship or not. But just the feeling I get from Terence is like, he's just, disinterested. I know he says and from what I've heard in interviews, from what he's been asked by other reporters, Terence Crawford, that he prefers to fight Manny Pacquiao. But that Pacquiao fight look like it's not gonna happen, and honestly, not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a fight I was clamoring for or I had to see anyways. It was more of a, that could be interesting. But at the end of the day, I just felt like Terence would be way too much for Pacquiao. So that wasn't really a fight that I was, again, clamoring for. But with this fight between Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, I believe that's a more interesting matchup, a more even matchup. Again, even though I do have Terence Crawford edging it out with the win, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout like Terence Crawford's, previous, I don't know how many fights. He's on like a KO streak right now, which is pretty fucking cool. But on the flip side, you gotta look at who he's knocking out. It's the level of competition, which is, I would say, is a common thing I've heard, like a common knock I've heard in regards to Terence Crawford. In my opinion, he's a dog. He can fight. He's one of the best, for real, if not the best. It's just when you look at who he's fighting, it's just hard to really say, he's out here knocking out top level guys. But at the end of the day, man, again, Crawford versus Porter, that would be a hell of a fight that I believe it does numbers, no question. And the idea that Bob Arum, is just being cheap and not wanting to promote this fight is honestly a slap in the face to boxing, and not only to the fighters. You have a Hall of Famer on your roster, in your stable, in Terence Crawford, and you choose not to support him for whatever reason. It's just bad business, bad look. And I just hope up and coming fighters, who are going pro, take notice of shit like this. Because Floyd went through the same thing, I believe, in his career with Top Rank and also Mikey Garcia. So, again, hopefully fighters take notice of this shit. Even with Teofimo recently, right? Teofimo went through the same thing with Bob Arum. But his situation worked out a little bit differently with him linking up with Triller for that big payday and pay-per-view fight. So, hey, Terence Crawford, to me, is more established than Teofimo, obviously. He unified 140, and he's been a champion at 147 for some time. So, to me, man, it's time for Terence to consider leaving Top Rank, because it just doesn't seem like they have his best interest at heart, especially when it comes to securing big fights, getting him, putting him in a position to really, really maximize his star power or drawing power, or making that connections with not only the boxing purists but also the casual fans as well. And I just feel like if I'm Terence Crawford, I'm getting the fuck out of there. But yeah, that's just me and my take. But yeah, man, Porter versus Terence Crawford, that's gonna be a hell of a fight. That's a fight I want to see. I hope that fight happens. And when it does happen, when it does happen, I'll be excited. I can't wait. So, just got done watching a video of Shawn Porter being interviewed on FightHype.com. And man, that was a great interview. So with that interview, Shawn Porter pretty much gave some context in what he was saying about, the tweet that he put out. And just saying, he pretty much, it's nothing malicious towards Terence Crawford, but he wants to fight him, which is pretty cool to see that, that energy from a fighter, just that pure, fight mentality, like the best find the best, really. So that is pretty cool to see. And so pretty much in the interview, Porter was just saying, like, listen, it's not anything personal. he just sees Terence Crawford as as pretty much as a one of the best fighters right now. He mentioned that, you know, if it's not Terence Crawford, Pacquiao, or Errol Spence, he's really not interested because those are the top guys right now. But him pushing specifically for the Terence Crawford fight, you know, that's just something he's been asking for some time, and it's just on his heart to fight Crawford, which is, again, that's pretty cool, you know, because Shawn Porter is that, you can tell he has that old school throwback mentality, you know, like he wanna fight the real dogs, the real high level competitors. And Porter, like, literally done fought everyone, you know. He fought, again, you can look as recent as Spence, Danny Garcia, Thurman, Kell Brook. He's literally fought all the top dogs in the division, Ugas as well. So aside from, you know, Pacquiao and Crawford, those are pretty much the other top guys in that division that he hasn't fought. And, you know, Porter's just, you can tell Porter's confident, right? Porter's confident in himself, what he's saying, what he got going on. And I remember in a part of the interview, right? I'm gonna play a part of the interview where
I saw it, I was like, oh, end of May. I'll be ready at the end of May. I should tweet that, you know what I mean? And that's how it happened, you know. It's not, you know, I think he feels that, you know, I'm attacking him or anything. I'm not attacking him, I'm just letting you know I'm here. And, you know, hashtag, the best fighting the best.
Well, and you said to give people what they need.
Give people what they need.
What do you mean, Shawn?
he just clarified, you know, like he said he felt like, you know, Terence Crawford may have felt like that Porter was attacking him, which I don't feel that way. Let's look from the outside looking in. Again, as a fan, they're friends. But I didn't get the energy, you know. You never really get that energy from Porter. You get that, yo, it's business. And this is a business move. It'll be great for both of them. They'll make some great change. And, you know, if Terence Crawford beats Shawn Porter and beats him in such a fashion that, you know, just dominates him, wouldn't that give Crawford a little bit more leverage in his negotiation going into unify with Errol Spence? You know, it's his chess, not checkers. So to me, you know, Crawford fighting Porter, it can only enhance his stock going into a unification fight with Errol Spence if he dominates Porter.
This is something great, and I can't pass it up. Let me hit that buy. Me fighting Terence Crawford is that buy that I feel everybody needs. I think that there's no secret what's gonna happen when I get there, you know. And I think that if anything, if anything, you're wondering, you know, hey, should I buy this fight or not? Well, you know what Shawn Porter's gonna do. Shawn Porter has never not delivered, and I say that as humbly as possible, but that's me.
And Porter also makes a brilliant point, right? Whenever Shawn Porter is fighting, it's guaranteed to be action-packed because he's gonna bring it. So, you know, Porter hasn't really been in any disappointing fights on pay-per-view. You know, when he fought Thurman, that was action-packed. Spence was action-packed. Him versus Garcia was action-packed. So Porter's track record of performing under pressure in big fights, you know, is phenomenal. He's, again, one of the elite boxers, especially in the welterweight division. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves, nearly. But yeah, and also just to clarify again, this clip is Shawn Porter talking to FightHype.com in an interview.
Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter is a great fight. I'm not attacking Terence Crawford. I'm not, you know, trying to get under his skin or anything like that at all. I'm simply stating what's great, what you guys need, and that's Showtime Shawn Porter versus Terence Bud Crawford.
Do you approach that fight? Do you approach that fight with the mentality of either I'm gonna knock him out or I'm gonna get knocked out? That kind of.
I don't approach any fight like that. I think if anything, every fighter approaches the fight like, hey, I'm gonna knock this guy out, you know, whatever. I definitely have. I haven't really seen the entire fight, but I've seen just small versions of the fight. half a dozen times, maybe even more than that. I meditate so much, so I don't even know. But I've seen it all, well, not seen it all, but I've seen a lot, and I know that he is the kind of guy that I can knock out.
Yeah, so, straight from the mouth of Shawn Porter, now you can just hear Porter just describing like, hey, he knows it's gonna be a big fight, and I agree with that. It's gonna be a big fight. How can it not be? Two of the best, fighting the best, going at it. Friends or not, we don't really care as fight fans. We just want to see two great styles clashing against each other. Also, in the interview as well, the interviewer asked Shawn Porter, if he believes he can knock Terence Crawford out or KO Terence Crawford, and to my surprise, Porter said he can. He said that he believes he can knock him out, or he envisioned himself knocking him out, but he's not going into the fight with that mentality, oh, it's either I knock him out or it's a loss. Nah, that's not really his game plan, but he does say that he envisions himself being able to knock out Terence Crawford, which is a huge statement, huge statement.